Bienvenidos! Today we're going to talk about the conditional tense in Spanish. The conditional tense is used to talk about actions that would have happened given a particular condition. And in English we use the conditional tense with the word would. For example, I thought he would arrive today. So I thought is the condition, the previous condition, and then he would arrive is the conditional action where we would actually use the conditional tense. So in English, this is the conditional tense. Would arrive. Now in Spanish, in order to form the conditional tense, it's pretty simple. All we do is use the conditional tense endings and add them to the infinitive form of the verb. So we add the endings to the infinitive form. And these are the conditional tense endings. For yo, we have ia, tú, ias, él, ella, usted, ia, nosotros or nosotras, íamos, ellos, ellas, ustedes, ian. Notice that all the forms have an accent mark over the I. There are irregulars, and I'll give you an example of an irregular here in a minute. So there are some verbs that need to be memorized because they don't follow the exact rules of adding the endings to the infinitive. Now, back to our first example. I thought he would arrive today. So in Spanish, we would say, I thought, pensaba, or you could have yo pensaba. Yo pensaba que, I thought that he would arrive. So the verb for arrive is llegar. And all we do is add the conditional ending for he. So for he it would be the el form. El, and it's ia. So all we do is add ia to the end of llegar. So we add llegar. And there's our ending, ia, llegaría. Now let's look at another example. We didn't know he'd have to go. So the first phrase, we didn't know, is setting up the condition for using the conditional tense in the next verb. So in this verb, we just use the past tense, the imperfect tense. No sabíamos. Okay, no sabíamos. Then the next verb is our condition. No sabíamos que tendría que ir. So the conditional in this is would have to go. And in English, we have the contraction he'd for he would. So would is in there, but it's kind of hidden. We didn't know he would have to go. In Spanish we would say, no sabíamos que, and then in Spanish for have to it's tener que. So we use the conditional tense for tener, and tener in the conditional is irregular. It's the stem actually is not the infinitive, it's T-E-N-D-R, tendre. T-E-N-D-R, and then we add the ending. So for T-E-N-D-R, tendre, the ending would be the el form, ia, tendría. El tendría, and the el is implied, we could put that in there if we wanted to. No sabíamos que tendría que ir, that he would have to go. Now, in Spanish, the conditional is also used to make polite requests. Sometimes we say that in English, we would say, would you please get the pencil for me? And we're using would. And in Spanish, the conditional is also used to make requests. So if I said, would you study tonight? that's kind of a polite request. I could say, would you study tonight, please? Or would you please study tonight? And in Spanish, we would say, ¿estudiarías esta noche? Okay, so we use the conditional of estudiar. And another time in English that we use would is when we're talking about something that we used to do on a regular basis. We would go to the store on Mondays. We would eat ice cream on Fridays. And in Spanish, that's really not the conditional tense. That's talking about things that we used to do. And in order to talk about things we used to do in Spanish, we use the imperfect tense, not the conditional tense. So in general, we use the conditional tense to replace when we're going to use a verb with the word would, okay? So we have would here, would here, we have would here. But in this sentence, they would read every day. This would is not talking about a condition. This is talking about something that used to happen on a regular basis. In this case, we would not use the conditional tense. When we're talking about something that would happen on a regular basis, we use the imperfect tense. Leían, okay? That would be, they used to read every day. Leían todos los días.